Welcome, everyone, to our June Ambassador-led webinar. I'm your host, Tisha Poncio, a Global Community Manager, and I'm really excited to see so many of you already in the chat joining us. Today's session is Meet the Lumio Student Designers. This is a super special webinar, so we're so excited that you're here. And after this session, be sure and share the recording with all of your friends because our guests today are going to pretty much blow your mind. Before we get started, I have a couple of announcements. As you know, I always do. This will be recorded. So if you have any question or anybody comes into the chat and they are asking about that, feel free to let them know. We do record these sessions. If you have registered, you are getting a copy of this session to your email. And as always, it will also be on our YouTube channel. We also want to remind you to join all of our social media places. So there's lots of places to follow Lumio and Smart on LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok and X. And so I'm going to share all of those links in the chat so that you can follow us and stay connected throughout the weeks and the months. And we have a brand new ambassador Instagram. So I will put that in the chat as well. If you are an ambassador, we'd love for you to follow. If you're not an ambassador, we'd love for you to follow. I will be dropping a link later for you to join our ambassador community. So without further ado, I am going to bring up the very first of our guests. And here she is. Sue, welcome so much to this webinar. We are so excited to have you joining. And where are you joining from right now?
Hi, and thank you so much for having me, Tisha. I am in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada.
That's amazing. And so I love your story. You have a lot going on. And so if you are not familiar with Sue, we're going to get you connected to Sue, but essentially she's the Ideas Program Director at Rundle College in Calgary. We're going to ask her a little bit more about that in a second. She also really leans into AI and future ready skills. And then the other thing that I love the most about Sue's work is actually that she leans in to creating opportunities for her students to really move from consuming content to creating content. And if you know anything about Tisha Poncio, you know that that is where my passion lies, because it is really our responsibility to create those opportunities for our students to set them up for success as they move forward. So what I would love for you to tell us today, Sue, I want you to tell us a little bit about your title, because that title, Ideas, it's not just the word, it's actually an acronym for something, right?
That's right. Well, I think it started because I keep saying to people, oh, I have an idea. But Ideas actually stands for Innovation, Design, Entrepreneurship, Artificial Intelligence, or AI, and Skills. And I'm proud to serve at my school as what is an ideas strategist. So I kind of think about ways at which we can, step into positions where, it kind of bridges what we learn at school and what students might be encountering in real life. So, opportunities that we're going to be talking about today, really into that innovation space and kind of figuring out how to work with students, but also how to support teachers in seeing these realized in their classrooms, whether it's in computer science, in robotics, and even in AI applications.
Yes. And actually, speaking of teachers, all of you that are joining, if you haven't told us in the chat where you're from, I see Nia put her location in the chat. Please follow her lead and tell us where you're tuning in from, and also tell us your role so that we have an idea of who we are presenting to today. Sue, I want to know a little bit about really what inspired you to create this type of opportunity for your students. Is this something that you always did? Is there a moment in your journey where you went, oh, I should be creating these opportunities? How did you get here?
So about, I want to say 6 years ago, I had the opportunity to build a computer science program here at my school. And that started for the grades 7, 8, 9s. And it was very a very open opportunity to figure out, what does computer science look like? Well, it's coding, but it's not just coding. I wanted them to have like a purpose. Like, why are we coding? We want to code for good. So for example, the sustainable development goals came into play. So a lot of this hands-on real life experiences were key to my philosophy, what I would like to happen and what I like to see for my students. So moving on from like real life experiences in grade 7 to 9, I've actually moved into the senior high to enhance that program and teach computer science. Well, because when the 7, 8, 9s become 10, 11, 12, so what are they going to do, right? So want to up the ante, elevate, and that's a big part of our program here, elevating our students to see them have opportunities in what is a real life experience. So for me, you ever heard of that book, Ada Twist Scientist? It's like a kid's book, like Ada Twist Scientist or Rosie Revere Engineer. Like, those were like inspirational to this generation of students, right? They want to be something. So we always say to someone, think like a scientist, or think like an engineer, or think like a mathematician. Well, what does a computer scientist think like? Well, I know computational thinking, but what does that look like in real life? That's kind of like software development. That might be like designing programs, problem solving, all these things. And we're very, very lucky because we are living in the city where SMART is headquartered here in Calgary, Alberta. And so I somehow got connected. It was actually on a plane back from ISTE, because
that's amazing. That is incredible. Those networking moments on the plane, in the hallway. Yes. Life-changing.
Yes. So I became an ISTE certified educator in that year. And I was like, I have to go to ISTE. And so that was my PD for the year. And on the way back, I was sitting beside this amazing person who worked for SMART, and she was so dedicated to SMART. She had her hair all yellow. It's like total SMART theme. And we started to talk about, how we can make these opportunities. And, like some months passed by, and we met, and we found opportunities for SMART to come into our school. And then we talked about, hey, what about students? Would you like to have students work with you? What are the possibilities? And we were so very lucky to find opportunities we have a group of 11 students who joined SMART this year at headquarters.
That's amazing. How inspirational to really link up. Like, you use that moment of networking on the plane really to the advantage of your students, because now you're utilizing that opportunity to bring your students and this product team together. And if you know my story, I did the exact same thing, Sue. It's not an accident that we are both ISTE related and now best friends on this student-led leadership front. I think it's so interesting because you really took assignments and just reimagined what your students could do with them to really teach them skills that they are going to have for a lifetime. And I just love that. So you met with the SMART team at headquarters, I'm guessing, before you ever talked to your students about this. Is this right?
Yeah, so this is a year in the making. Like we were trying to plan. The SMART team was really good because the Alberta curriculum has an opportunity for a practicum. We found this way to get like some credit for the students, because what I wanted them to feel is, students, they do coding or they do programming, and they think it's a solo sport.
Yeah.
And I really wanted them to open their eyes to what that might look like in the workforce. And this opportunity really helped them to see, okay, when I'm working with code, it's not just me and my code. It's me, my code, a whole team of people who are going to tell you what the bugs are in your code and how it works, how to even organize your code. Like I mean, I've learned so much. I mean, I'm sure the students have, but I've learned so much through this experience as well. So it's been so amazing to see students being mentored by real life professionals in different roles. And that lets them imagine, this is not for me. That could be the conclusion, but it could be also, actually, I don't like the debugging. I like the testing. I like to find other people's bugs, So understanding that coding is not one thing, it is multiple things. And we have come to this point where AI is also part of our environment. And so it's so exciting to see students in the space where the professionals are saying, this is how you can use AI. AI is not the be all and end all. If you cannot understand what your code is, you cannot call it your code. And so there's a lot of rich learning, and it takes away from, how people say, oh, we don't have to learn how to code anymore because AI is here. And actually, this actually debunks that so much for my students, because they can see that actually it's the relationships, it's the communication skills, it's the team building that comes with this experience. Money can't buy that experience, especially because I'm teaching in senior high.
Absolutely. You're 100% spot on with that. And as you're talking and sharing this, all of the ISTE student standards and teacher standards and even the profile of an AI graduate are popping out at me, because you're doing all of that, and it's all layered within this project. Did you notice engagement differences with your students when you gave them this project?
Okay, you know how like you give your students feedback and they're like, oh yeah, thank you. When professionals give them feedback, they don't go, oh yeah, thank you. They actually see, you actually see the growth in the 3 weeks, how students are able to embrace feedback, how they're able to actually say, hey, I've actually learned so much from such and such mentor, because, I've been able to take that feedback and improve my game. So seeing students engage in that way. And I think, of course, when I give them an assignment, it goes in a rubric and it goes on their grades. This assignment goes live on the Lumio website, and you guys can all
to
play
the world,
their work.
right? Exactly. It's to the world, and we're actually going to share the games with you before the session is over. So you're gonna want to wait, because I'm going to give you all of the links. I'm going to give you the survey link. You're going to get the games. But speaking of students, I think we should bring up our students. But I want you to give them a brief intro, Sue, before I pop them on the stage with us. So who do we have with us today?
So today we have 2 of my students. Now I'm going to say that this is also my opportunity to celebrate them, because I've known them for like 4 and 5 years. So they've been my students through junior high, and they've come up with me into the senior high program. And there's 2 students, and their names are Harrison and Elliot. And they are some amazing, complex thinkers. They are some curious problem solvers. Their projects, like not just this one, but the ones that have come before, have really, floored me as to their creativity, how they think, and they are here on the screen. Hey, boys.
Welcome. It's great to have you with us. I just love that you have spent so much time together. I think what's really great about that is like you said, you've had all of these years to build upon the things that you're teaching them, and now you're sending them off into the world. Harrison and Elliot, officially welcome to the Lumio stage here. We are so glad to have you. You both have officially graduated, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And what are you going on to do? What is your dream? I told you backstage, I said, you are going to reinvent what you're doing for the rest of your life, and you're going to think you've made it, and then you're going to discover something new based on what Sue just said. I know how curious you are, so you'll never stop learning. But where is your journey starting? What are you going to major in college?
Starting, I'm going to university for engineering, so I'm not too sure like what specification yet, though.
Sure.
And yeah, I'll be. I'm planning to do computer science at university as well.
That's amazing. What I hear you both saying is that you've always been creators, and you've always been curious, and you've always been designers. And backstage, they gave me a little hint here, because, and I just want to shout this out because I want our teachers listening to understand that some of the things that you're doing as a kid that seem like they're not really impactful actually give you the direction for your life. So Harrison, what did you do as a kid that really inspired you to go down this path after graduation?
Yeah, so I've really just been in love with computer science for like basically my whole childhood. Like I've always loved with coding, how you can just really create anything you want, really. Like you can code. Like I always used to play video games, back in the day, and just like when playing them, I'd always have like ideas of things that I want to make, and if I made my own video game, and coding could actually make that come to life. So,
and what was your favorite game back in the day?
I have to say probably Minecraft, but there's lots of other games too. But yeah, Minecraft is definitely a big favorite.
Okay, Elliot, what about you?
I would say, yeah, I've wanted to be an engineer, or at least go into engineering for since I was a little kid. And just, when I was young, I would see like just things, machines in the real world, and then I would try and recreate them myself, like vacuum out of cardboard or something. And
wow, that's amazing. Well, let's see. I want to know a little bit about your game, and we're going to show you the game. So if you're tuning in, don't worry. I got the game backstage. We're about to pop it on the screen. Your game is called Block Jump, and I want to know a little bit about how did this game come to life? Like, where did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, so we wanted to create a game that was like was from like a game that we both liked a lot, and at the time that was Geometry Dash. And so, but we also wanted to create not just a game for playing, we wanted a game for also learning and to learn math easily. And so we kind of Block Jump is the perfect balance between being simplistic for kids for learning, being engaging and fun. And also like incorporating the math and also the fun in Geometry Dash.
Well, I did play it last week. I went and I played it, and I was telling, like, I will tell, it was so fun. And I don't love math, but I really had a lot of fun, and I had to actually stop what I was doing to get back to work because it was a lot of fun. I can't wait for you to show the audience. I have one more question, a couple more questions, because I kind of want to know, who is the game for? Like, who is your audience?
I would say, like, originally we kind of, with the Lumio team, they said, oh, try and like come up with an age range or like a grade range, just so you can like bring in the scope of your project and plan around that. And so we planned for kind of grades like 2 to about 7, which is kind of where the math skills range from. So not like the game skills, but just because of that, we planned for about that. And so
that's a good age range. I'm not those ages, as I told you backstage, but I had a lot of fun. So I would say it's probably for any age. What challenges did you see right before you started? Like, you hadn't even got into it. Were any challenges popping up for you before you even began?
I think me personally, just like with the skills that we were mainly doing, which is JavaScript using to code it, I was kind of not very skilled with that before we started. So I was a little like worried about, how am I going to be able to contribute meaningfully to this?
Yeah.
So that was kind of my biggest thing, probably.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to pop this screen share on the stage, but I have one more question for you as I do that. What I would like to know is, at what point for both of you did this stop feeling like just a school project and assignment, and then it started feeling like a real thing for real people in the real world? Was there an aha moment for you?
I guess like a really big aha moment was when we first went to the smart like Lumio offices, because it really just shifted our perspective from, hey, this isn't just the usual like school project where it's just me, a student, learning. Because now in the office, I'm an actual developer, and I've never really had those like responsibilities before to actually code like for the real world. And so yeah.
And then I think also
go
just
ahead.
At the very end, being able to like present our project and actually demo it to like the Lumio team and smart employees, parents, and like teachers. And so that kind of really like set in the difference on how just different.
Would you say it puts a little bit of pressure on you, because you're not just answering to your teacher anymore. You're not just getting a grade in the grade book. The stakes are much higher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some tight deadlines with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, we have your screen share on the screen for our audience. So I'm going to let you kind of walk us through, give us a demo, talk us through the game that you built, the highlights, what are we seeing on the screen? And I'm going to mute myself. And Odessa, you're absolutely right. Just wait, Odessa. It's going to be a lot of fun for you to watch this. I'm muting myself. Okay, boys, you guys go ahead and take over the show.
Okay, so here is Block Jump. We're at the main menu right now. And so the first thing you'll see here is select the different question types. So like Elliot previously said, this game was intended for more grades 2 to 7, but we eventually switched that to basically you can choose what types of questions you want to do. So let's say if a teacher wants us to learn multiplication and division today, that means we can just choose those different question types and then we'll be able to do those and practice them. Okay, so let's actually start the game. It's pretty simple controls, just like clicking the mouse and you can jump. Okay, and we just hit a heart, so now we can earn back a life that because we lost one because we hit an obstacle. So to get it back, we have to answer this math question. So 11 times 11, that is 121, and we get that heart back.
Yeah. And then basically the main goal of the game, you can see just at like the top center of the screen, there's a score. Basically, the goal is to just get as far as you can and just get the highest score you can.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and you may have also seen that we're actually switched into a new game mode, and this just keeps like the gameplay more engaging. It's a simple ship. You just hold to go up and let go to go down. And now we're out. We're back in the square game mode. And then here's another question.
It's so fun because you guys are doing this game and you're making it look so easy. But what I can tell you from my experience is I like basically quote unquote died like real quick and had to answer a question. And it was really interesting because I was thinking, ooh, if they were here, I could ask them questions, right? Did you think of, as you were developing this, did you think of, oh, what if our users have questions mid-game? How are they going to ask me a question or solve a problem as they're having this experience? Did you think through that at all yet? Or was that not part of the requirement?
That wasn't really part of designing the game, I would say.
We wanted to, like, since this is for like a younger age group, we wanted to keep the controls like simple and like the gameplay pretty simple. So
and I used my space bar. I can also use my space bar, right? So are you using your mouse right now?
Yeah, we're using the mouse.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a space bar, there's a mouse, or the arrow keys.
And speaking of that feedback piece, how did you approach like the feedback loops? Because I'm guessing your teacher gave you feedback and then you got feedback from your peers, but then you're also getting feedback from the Lumio product team. So explain a little bit about how you approached that and how did it feel to take on the critiques? How did you deal with that?
I would say, so we had like weekly meetings with the Lumio team. And so just those were either we went in person to their offices a few times, and then we also had like online meetings during our computer science class where we would meet with our mentors. And so we just like went into them knowing that they're here to support us and help us make the best project that we can. And so the feedback is going to be to do that. And so we should take it like that. And then we also had like a ton of different people giving us feedback within the Lumio team, from like a UI designer to a backend engineer. And so we just got some really different and helpful perspectives on it.
Hey, so Andrea has a question, and I'm just going to insert that question here. I put it on the screen, but she wants to know, how are you going to use your experiences from this project, creating Block Jump, into a next project? Like, what are you taking with you to the next big project that you do?
Yeah, so I think the biggest takeaways from this project was not just like the coding skills like learned when creating this project, it was more the how to, like, the design principles and actual like project development, like in an actual team and working environment. I feel like those skills, like, I really learned from those and really growed from those. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Elliot.
I think that like just going on in the next kind of parts of our life, either university and beyond that, like in the workforce and stuff, we're not ever going to really be doing a project that's just like, oh, here's an assignment and submit it. Now, like everything is going to be for a purpose, whether that be like a person or just for something. And so I think being able to experience that before we kind of get all thrown into it has been really beneficial.
Yeah, or hopefully your future professors and teachers are going to be listening to this, because if you give them anything basic, they're not going to love it, right? You're going to want more. That's such a great important note there. Love that Sue has set you up for this, actually, because it just means that you are going to go into everything more innovative, more creative, more curious. Is there anything else, any other features, that you want to show us on this game? Because we want to see more if you have more to share.
So there's some more features. So right here up in the top right, we have the menu. And so let's say the teacher wants to see how your progress is doing. There is a view stats button. And from here, you can check this different session stats. So we answered a multiplication question, 11 times 11, and we got it right. And that shows here. So if we were struggling, the teacher could see, and we know that we'd have to go back and practice some more.
I think that's kind of the main features that we had.
Awesome. Well, I kind of want to ask, and I'm just gonna take your screen share backstage for a minute, and we're gonna bring Sue back up. There she is. I have a question. When you are working as a team, because let's be real, working as a team is not easy. You may have an objective in your mind that you want to do, and then you also want to, you have maybe Harrison has another way that he's going, and you're going in opposite directions. Talk to me a little bit about how do you divide the work as a team, and then also what have you learned about working together with other people?
Just communication is everything. Absolutely.
Yes.
We discussed anything we did before we would do it, just anything. And so
did you have arguments about any of these things? And by arguments, I mean heated discussions and moments of really thorough communication.
I don't know if we really had a ton. Maybe when we were just kind of starting out, trying to come up with the game idea and some of the stuff for that, because we had so much freedom in it.
Yeah.
And I also like how we divided it up was because we had a deadline, and we both decided to split up the work. So this allowed for for the project to be more organized. And so for example, like I did most of like the game physics and like the actual gameplay, and meanwhile like Elliot did like the question analysis like you saw, and just a lot of the UI that was done.
That's actually amazing, because you're really leaning into both of your talents, which is really what a great team does. They recognize their weaknesses, and they also recognize their own talents and strengths. And then you work on the project really with that knowledge. Odessa has a question about the student stats. Does your game save the student stats? Is there a way, in Lumio, our teachers love to download PDFs so that they have everything saved for those students. Does your game have that capability at this moment?
As of right now, it does not, but if we did have more time, we could have definitely implemented that.
That is such a great product answer. I just want to say, Harrison, I've worked with a lot of product teams, and I just want to say you already have it down. You're like, not at the moment, but when we go back to it, this is a moment of improvement, right? That's great. It's a great question, Odessa. Thank you. Oh, wait. Sue is muted. Let me unmute you. Okay.
No, I was going to say, just for context, they developed this over 3 weeks.
Amazing.
So, I mean, seeing this finished product and the development from zero to hero here is just amazing. So over 3 weeks, they did so much and took on so much feedback. So it's been a really good job from not just from them, but also from their Lumio mentors.
Yeah, I mean that's a really really quick sprint for all of that, and also having the calls and the communication, and that's amazing. Is there anything that you would do differently if you had this whole 3 weeks to do over again?
I think personally, I liked the main project idea, and I don't think I would change anything about that. And maybe differently, just thinking about a little more planning wise, because it was, I think that maybe set us back a little bit, just kind of struggling with the planning. And so maybe doing that, but then also not doing differently, but improving, like just adding more game features and whatnot.
Yeah, so like a big like feature that we'd love to add was some improvements on the teacher side. So we'd want to implement like a class feature, so a student can join a teacher's class, and so all the students' data, it's like synced to the teacher, and they can see it on their like teacher dashboard, so they could just view all the students' progress. And then like another thing with the teacher was that they could add their own questions to like a bank of questions.
Oh yeah.
To more like to create the questions more specific to the class.
Yeah, like more an individualized experience. That's really amazing. Again, Sue's right. Like that's amazing work in 3 weeks. Yes, Odessa, you absolutely could do that. I just want to commend you, because as you are presenting live on, this is your very first live webinar. Is that right? You guys are doing amazing. And I just want to say, I already hear in your descriptions and your communication right now, this whole project has given you a level of confidence. Do you feel that about yourselves, that you are more confident about the way that you're working and the way that you're planning and the way that you're building and coding? Is that level of confidence increased compared to when you first started?
Yeah, I definitely think like this definitely increased like my confidence in like speaking and like in collaborate in a collaborative setting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sue, you have many more projects, and I have actually shared that link in the chat. So you had on this link, when I share it in the chat one more time, Sue, I want you to kind of speak to a couple more of these projects. So if you're attending, the link is in the chat. You can see all of the games: Math Rush, Block Jump, which is Harrison and Elliot's game, Math Cookie Clicker. I'm not going to pronounce Vespera. Is that right? Vespera. Okay.
Yep,
and then Pizza
yep.
Clicker. So I haven't played these games yet, but I would love for you to speak a little bit to all of the other projects, and really maybe just putting you on the spot. What did you see? What things did you see differently in specifically Elliot and Harrison as they were working on this? Did you see, because you've been with them a long time?
The like real life experiences changes you and gives you an opportunity to, kind of realize your potential. And I think seeing them grow in their confidence, right, over time, finding their voice, finding their ability to communicate their thoughts, and their even with you right now, like it's just again, more real life opportunities for students who are trying to find their way and trying to find like, where do they fit in this new, as they enter the workforce. And that's, really the things that teachers can do, right? We can only facilitate, the work that our students have are interested in. And hopefully through those opportunities, they find what they want to do, and maybe what they don't want to do. But I think, so in that group of projects, we're so proud of our classmates, right? Like they have produced in this, like, so the project was lasting for 5 weeks, and the first 2 weeks was training, right? They needed to understand what they needed to know. So there's a little bit of learning and the learning curve there. And the actual creation of the project took 3 weeks. So they could actualize their ideas in that 3 weeks. All the other games, yes, Andrea, they are all student generated. So our class is a small computer science 3 class. It's an advanced level class. So students have had to go through about 3 or 6 years of the computer science program. And so we have a small group, but mighty group. We have mostly they're grade 11 and 12 students, and they've been creating these projects again during that time period. Math Rush, all these other games here, the Pizza Clicker, the Math Cookie Clicker, they are all kind of, I want to say, takes on other popular games. So if your students play Cookie Clicker, they might like the Pizza Clicker game. And the Math Cookie Clicker game is really quite cool because you're kind of clicking, but also on these cookies, but you're also solving math problems. Now, Vespera was created by 2 grade 11 students who are excited about physics. So that is a totally different game simulation. When you click on Vespera, it's like you're entering into a different world, and they build it just for Lumio. So if you drag your mouse around, you'll see the Lumio Firefly kind of appear and go with your mouse. It is so fun. But they're looking at physics simulation. So they're doing different planetary simulations of gravity and trajectories, and they're actually drawing these. It's programmed to draw a graph as these simulations. So really quite exciting and fun, experiments, if you like, that these students have created, and an opportunity for them to, realize their physics dreams, because they were both taking physics in different classes. So, and an added bonus is they were able to take those, the Vespera project into their physics classes to test out with their physics peers. So, which is really quite interesting because they're doing physics 20.
Odessa says, we all need you as the teacher. And it's like Odessa is reading my mind, because segueing into my next question, specifically for you, Sue, if an educator who's watching or who rewatches this webinar, if they want to create more authentic learning experiences, what is your advice and where should they start?
I would say first find authentic projects for students to do. Things that explore learning more than explore a destination. So, for example, we're learning so much about AI, and we did with our some of our students, we're actually having an open project about how machine learning works, how data connects to gaming. But I'm not going to focus on what those games are. I'm going to focus on their journey. And then that is what real life experiences are in the classroom. We have to give them opportunities to experiment, learn as they go, and focus less on the end product as much as the learning that goes with that. And I think, whether you're interested in microbits, whether, Harrison and Elliot, I've seen their Scratch games. I've worked with them in microbit. I've seen them create all kinds of, I still remember them. Elliot is an advanced musician, and he was part of a team that created a music tool with microbits. And again, it's not about the destination. It's really about that learning journey and having those authentic experiences, and helping them figure those out as you go. And you don't have to know things. You just have to let your students guide you in their learning. And I think that is really important. My background is not computer science. But still facilitating this program, having students explore beyond my imagination and my ability is where I always start.
Okay, I just have to say yes to all of that, because that is the key. And I think sometimes as a teacher, it is hard to remember that. You don't have to know everything, but to get your students here, you need to sort of let go of all of the control and give them some space and room to roam, right? That is incredible. So Odessa wants to know, do your students have their own Lumio account, or are they sharing yours?
Oh, actually, we've been actually, all those projects, we've been actually creating them outside of Lumio. They're actually created in JavaScript, in a coding program which everybody can have access to in Visual Studio Code. So they can play around with that and behind. So they don't need to create within Lumio. But those of you who are playing in Lumio, you can be able to access the games through the Lumio site. I hope that makes sense.
No, that's exactly right. So Odessa, the students were creating in a completely different program, but the link that we have provided, and I'll pop it in the chat one more time. This is just such an easy little landing page within Lumio for you to go in and play these games and look into the student work. I think I have shared that publicly. I've also added the survey for your certificate. So if you were joining and you want your certificate, that survey link is in the chat. And I've also included a link so that you can become an ambassador. Join Sue, join Odessa, join all of our ambassador community, because this is where the true learning happens. You guys, Sue said it best. I didn't even have to advertise it, but really making those connections wherever you are, and really learning from each other. And that is how this whole project was born. I think that story is amazing. I want to say thank you to all three of you. Sue, where can they find you? Because I already know people are going to want to find you. They're going to want to connect with you, especially if they are in ISTE. Are you going to ISTE this year, Sue?
I cannot go this year, unfortunately, but I have some other responsibilities to tend to, but
sure.
I'm hoping to go next year. But if you are excited to connect, and I would love to hear from you, I am on LinkedIn. My name is Sue Milda, and you can find me there, and we will be able to connect. And I would love to find you, ask questions, and answer your questions, because I feel like we are, just on this learning journey together. And the more of us who want to make these opportunities happen, the more they will happen.
Yeah, I love Odessa said, Harrison and Elliot, please place this on your resume. Don't worry, Odessa. I've already had, I'm sure between Sue and I, they are going to talk about this experience for a very, very long time. Now listen, Harrison and Elliot, I want to make sure that you let us know how things are going as you now journey off into the beginning of your life. We are so thankful that you have joined us and shared your experience here with us. We're glad that we were able to capture that before you set off. Sue has added her LinkedIn link in the chat. So, yep, you can find her. Just search up her name within LinkedIn and connect with her. Make sure that you are following our social channels. I'm actually going to put them in the chat, like I said I would earlier. We've had a lot going on, but I'm going to add all of those into the chat. And also, don't forget that we have a new Instagram specifically for our ambassadors. So if you are on Instagram, you want to follow that link, I'm going to pop that in the chat as well. We'd love to have you there. Harrison and Elliot, do you have any last words that you would like to say to our audience?
This has been great. Thank you.
Yeah. I think we're both.
Thank you so much. Yeah. You guys are amazing, and we're just so proud of you. And you have a whole community of Smart and Lumio ambassadors cheering you on into the next phase of your life. Sue, you are always welcome on this ambassador-led webinar. Whatever you've got to share, we want to hear it. Thank you again so much. Attendees, make sure you click that link for your certificate. Make sure you check your email for the recording of this session. And also remember that this recording will be on the Lumio YouTube channel, so you'll be able to replay it. And that's a note for you, Harrison and Elliot. Make sure you go grab that link so you can add it to your resume. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been fantastic, and I am so honored that I got to host you. Until next time, we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.